Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. Today's guest is my friend, Mr. Chad Fields from Atlantic Packaging and a New Earth project. How are you, Chad?
Oh, I'm doing great, Corey. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be doing this.
It's great to have you on. I'm a big fan of what you do. The products that you focus on are really an important part of the value proposition here at Atlantic and a New Earth project. And so I'm excited to talk about those. But first, let's talk about you a little bit. How did you get into sustainable packaging as a career?
It's interesting, I would say, because I was in aviation. I was selling commercial airplane parts, basically a middleman for the airlines. Then that nasty little time we had in 2020 when COVID hit, airplanes stopped flying, and I lost my job. And so my dad worked for Atlantic Packaging for the last 22 years of his career, and he was on the phone with Wes one day, mentioned that I was unemployed, and Wes basically gave me that opportunity. Got hired with Atlantic not long after. Didn't really have a role. Fishbone was a new thing at the time. They knew I had a lot of experience. I bartended for a long time before I got into aviation. That was about 10 years of my career. And so they're like, man, this guy would be perfect because the bees are going to be good for the breweries. And they said, would you have any interest? And what do you think about sustainability? And I was like, oh, that's two things that I'm into already. So it was kind of a good fit. When New Earth Project started to come along, I work a lot with Kyle Pischel, our director of the Solutions Center, and he introduced me to Don Meek, and Don and I kind of meshed on some things, and so then I became a member of a New Earth Project, and everything just kind of went from there.
I think that's the highest form of compliment when a family member will say that you would be a good fit, and they would recommend a job to you because it's such an important part of our lives.
Oh yeah, definitely. I knew the coolest thing about it, I think, for me was that, I knew what my dad did, but I didn't understand the industry, So when I got here, I was like, wow, this is, just all this everyday thing that the packaging world is. When you're on the outside of it, looking in, it doesn't really affect you so much, or think about how big of a industry it is. And then, once I got here that first year, I was bug eyed everywhere I was.
That's a great way to put it. I think a lot of people don't realize how much packaging affects their everyday lives. Well said. Well, you mentioned Fishbone. Let's talk about that. What is Fishbone, and why is it such an important part of sustainable packaging?
Yeah. So Fishbone, it's our sustainable paperboard beverage carrier. It's just an option to at our alternative to the high cone that's been around for, I don't know, longer than you and I, that's for sure. I guess once Coke started making six packs, that's when high cone got introduced. So, everybody, of course, the idea of the turtles with the high cones around their neck, or in the brewery world, it's the HDP caps that are going on top, Pack Tech, or some of their competitors. So basically, just that alternative to them. We have options, cans, bottles. We a lot of opportunities. So anything that's going in a 2, 3, 6, 4, 8 pack, we have a solution for it, or we'll try to create one. the Our biggest footprint now would be in the brewery world, which is just a good fit because a lot of breweries have sustainability on their mind. So once we started the program, which was late in 2020, that was the real, when we got rolling. I mean, that's who it was just all our the brewery customers. I think that it's difficult for a change, right? So any bigger customers, we're still, you know, going through that process of, trying to get them to have confidence in it.
Right.
But we do have one now that's really big, and it's nationwide. So that's a big win for us. And, we think that they're going to continue to come as, I think that confidence grows seeing it on the shelves and stuff like that.
I think that's exactly right. And people are clamoring away from plastic solutions when it comes to packaging and moving towards fiber alternatives. Is that what you're seeing as well with Fishbone?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I hear even when I've just been mentioned what I do or something like that, and people are like, "Oh, I hate those." When I'm picking up my beers from the brewery and it's got those plastic caps, and it's just, it's not the worst solution. I don't want to totally be knocking anybody, but it's not an easy thing to figure out once you get it home with you. Like, can I take this back to the brewery, or can this be recycled? Clearly it can't go in your bins at home. But so that's why Fishbone's great, because it's an easy solution. Most people understand that fiber can be recycled. So you come home with that pack, just toss it in your bin, and you know, just
Yeah,
easy
curbside
easy solution.
recyclable. It's the
Correct.
way. It's the
Yep.
future. Even some things that are plastic that say they are recyclable or
Hmm.
have a resin coat on them with the chasing arrows around them aren't always getting recycled when they go through the material recycling facilities. And I think these fiber solutions make a lot of sense because they will most likely get recycled as long as they're put into the bin. Is that kind of the point you're making?
Yeah, definitely. I think the two easiest things for people to understand when they're recycling at home would paper's easy.
Yeah.
That we've been recycling paper for a long time, and I think people have enough understanding of that. I mean, even like I remember as a kid growing up, like you get the daily newspaper, it goes straight into the recycling bin. Even that's 30 years ago. My parents were doing that 40 years ago, but and then PET bottles. I think most people have that understanding, like that's easier recyclable. But with fiber, it's easy. People just will toss that right in the bin. That's
Right.
most of the feedback I get.
I think you're exactly right. People know that that can go in the bin. They know that paper and corrugated and chipboard and things like Fishbone are easy to recycle curbside or reuse. There are options for that, or turn into something else. There's lots of things that can be done with paper. That's exciting to see. But let's talk about some other materials from Atlantic Packaging and a New Earth project. Anything else you wanted to tell us about?
Yeah, I mean, one of our other newer programs that I'm very involved in would be our canopy wrap, which is a shrink film alternative. We developed it. It's been a couple years now. It's definitely not an easy process to get to the point where we're at now, but we do feel we're ready to go now. We've got equipment developed in a partnership with Invinia, and we're actually taking our machine again. This will be the second year that it's going to be in Invinia's booth at Pack Expo, so in Vegas this year.
Great.
It's leaving the Solution Center next week, and it's it's not a solution for everyone, of course, because that shrink film is needed. For it to work, it has to be in a tray, which a lot of people aren't necessarily in a tray when they're using shrink film. But we're excited about the potential of it. To get to a store, um, papers ripped off, thrown in the recycling bin as somebody's stocking the shelves. We really think that's the best solution for it. It has potential. It can be picked up off the shelf in the paper and go home with a customer, but we'll have to see if it makes it to that point.
That's great. And like you said, it's recyclable along with the corrugated tray. So both of those have the same, endpoint or next point in their circular life.
Right. Yeah. Um, it's just we have print capabilities with it, which I think is a big win for us because one of the things for me when trying to help get potential customers to change over to this solution, a lot of the times like if I can get the marketing team involved, that helps, right? So like they see more branding opportunity. That's the big thing with Fishbone. Let's say like you got this opportunity, like that's something that nobody else really has. So if you can, marketing team sees that and like, oh man, that's a game changer. So with Canopy, that's another thing. We can print what the product is, and really other than shrink film is printed as well, but that kind of helps us have that opportunity where it's just not like it's going to be craft paper going around your product.
Right. I've seen the samples, the printed samples at the Atlantic Packaging Solution Center there in Charlotte, North Carolina, and
Mm.
wow, I was totally impressed with the print capabilities, and it looks so different than
Mhm.
the plastic overwrap films, which are an effective solution, but like you said, they're difficult to recycle,
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
those materials would need to be brought back to the store as a store drop off
Yep.
to even have a chance of getting recycled. Whereas, the canopy paper can easily be put in your curbside bin.
Yeah, I think that's going back to like what the consumer understands of recyclability. Like very few, I would imagine, know if they got that shrink film what to actually do with it. And again, with paper, they would know just throw that right in the bin.
So we mentioned the Solution Center. I would love to tell the audience more about this facility because I think it's something that if you're in packaging and you're interested in being more sustainable, that you should come by. Can you tell us about it? You work there nearly every day, right?
Yep, I'm here unless I'm traveling. um, it's a super impressive place. What we're able to do here, a lot of credit goes to like somebody like Kyle Pishel and of
Mhm.
course Wes for having the vision. But you know, it was kind of a almost like we think we can do this. This was a paper converting down here on the floor for the longest time once they acquired this building, and that's what we were doing. So it was a big leap to say, all right, we're going to invest in this equipment in Europe that nobody else uses, and see if it works. And it did. We're able to validate um, load testing, and I think the biggest win for us when it got started seemed to be in the beverage space. Those are heavy loads on pallets, and we were able to really lock in on the wrap patterns to contain these heavy loads that have a lot of opportunity to move. So you, it's basically a one-stop shop. I think that's maybe the easiest way to say it. You can send us your full pallet loads. You can send us just say you're shipping e-commerce and you just have a box and you're trying to figure out a way to get your product there better, or you want it to be less plastic. So we have a little small design center here with a designer who she's able to help make a solution in house, cut it on our CAD table. We have a corrugate CAD table as well as a paperboard CAD table. And then downstairs, we have all our ISTA testing. So we have drop tester, compression testing, and then we have our multi-axis vibration table. So we can simulate, the majority of the stuff we're simulating on there would be back to a tractor trailer, but we can do a cargo ship, rail, cargo plane. We have our brake simulation sled, or just simulating a truck backing up to oh my gosh, my mind went blank on went
uh, to the
a
dock. Yeah,
bay, the
yeah,
truck
yeah.
bay. Sorry.
It's
But so
incredible
all
that.
that stuff that we have in house that we can do, um, you know, stretch film, of course, huge part of what we're doing here in our must monitoring system. But when it comes in and it might be a problem with the way they're wrapping it or the film you're using, we're able to spend a couple of days validating which film would work better, the wrap pattern, a big thing we can try to help customers with is getting rid of using even something like corner boards, where that's taking more time that their employees to add that on, or even more expense, because we're confident that just strictly the wrap patterns and the films that we're selling here, and all that's validated on that table. Um, the sustainability side that's really, and I actually did a tour this morning with a company, and it's like telling them about it, showing them what we're able to do in a matter of a couple of days. They were blown away by it, and that's a lot with the design center we've added, because for instance, Mary Ashland, one of our sales guys sends her a product, and it's a consumer, a customer that's shipping e-commerce or just one-off packaging, maybe through Amazon, and they need help. They don't want to use air pillows or the bubble wrap anymore. We have all the solutions here. So Mary Astor can start working on the design. We can do like an unboxing experience with, we've got Harris Hoard here from our marketing team, and we can put all that together. She redesigns it. We go through the drop testing, compression testing. If we need to simulate it throw it on the table, we can do all that in a matter of days and present a customer with a new solution. And that's just, to me, that sets us apart, because that's like what the person I was giving on a tour today, they were like blown away. They're like, nobody else can offer that, and it's true. And with our sustainability push that we're making, like that all, I mean, that just like perfect scenario to help validate what we're doing, and solidify to the customer that we're the right partner.
I totally agree. That vibration table, I think, is one of a kind in the U.S. right now, and it's an incredible piece of equipment that
Yeah.
actually replicates traveling down the road in a trailer,
Mm-hmm.
which I think a lot of people need to understand how aggressive that can be on their and abrasive to their packaging that trip can be,
Yeah.
and we can replicate that in house, and we can show, okay, here's what you're using now, and here's what we would recommend as a new solution to you, and here's why it will protect your load better, and oh, by the way, it's also a cost savings,
Yep.
because like you said, we're going to eliminate the products that you don't need. We're going to invest in uh, the science that you need to actually really look at what's more sustainable for your packaging.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Just to have a one stop shop where you can validate, design, test all that. Like, there's just nobody else around that's able to do that. And we kind of say it's the closer. Once we get people here and able to show them that, like, that's when they're like, all right, these guys are legit. So.
And I think people are a lot like me. They're visual. They want to see, they want to bring their product to the solution center in Charlotte, and they want to say, okay, here's what we're using now. Can you show us some alternatives that would be better options for this sustainably moving forward? And I think that's exciting, like you said, to bring the product in and just a day or two have a solution that will and a physical sample produced right there that they can take back to their team and show them.
Yeah, and the two programs that I mentioned earlier, the Fishbone and Canopy, like, it's such a big change, especially if it's a large scale change for somebody that's shipping huge quantities. That's what helps me to be able to talk about it. It's like, come here, let me show you that we can make this work. We're the right partner, because we can give you all the data and help show how this will survive through the supply chain. So it just helps, gives that extra confidence, and definitely with Fishbone, because people are very hesitant to make that switch, because why change when something's been working for so long. So getting them here to show that they don't have to worry about it, because we're going to make sure that we've gone through all the steps to prove it out, and say something does come up, like, who else would you want to be working with, that you could just send that product right back here to get this, get the problem fixed. And that's what Atlantic is. I think you hear Kyle or even Wes, how they talk about, like, it was a big unknown when they started doing this stuff in the solution center, but like the knowledge that we've gained is, and that we're able to share it now, with anybody that comes through, and just a huge advantage to working with us.
I agree. It's a great partnership, and it's a true partnership where we're asking for input from our partners and providing solutions that are their will meet their goals in the
Yeah.
future and the present. But well, let's talk about the future here, Chad. What's next for you? What you've got the Pack Expo coming up. You're going to actually display the canopy equipment there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so actually, first I'm head out to Vegas for the first time tomorrow. We're doing the International Bakery. Industry Expo, which is a show every 3 years, and it's gonna be the first time I'm there for that. And we're excited to talk through Must there because we
Mhm.
think we can really help a lot of those bakeries out with monitoring their loads. And then we're excited to show off Paperform there, which is another exciting product that we have. Basically a blister pack replacement that's sustainable for curbside recyclable. And those two things really what we're going to be focusing on there, other than the shrink film, of course, that a lot of those guys need, partnered with Texwrap and Clysar. And then after that, I am headed back to Vegas. I'll come home for a few days and head back out there. And we're going to be in Invenia's booth, so under the Duravant family, be a big, huge one-off booth, and Canopy will be featured there. We'll be running demos all the time. So if anybody is got interest in Canopy and they like to find out more, I'll be around. Kyle, Nick Ott, all three of us will be around at some point. So we're excited to be able to show that off and hopefully find a good partner for it.
How these shows are so valuable to actually get to see the materials working and running on the equipment is it's an incredible experience. I
Yep.
think it's nice that we're moving the equipment to Vegas to go to the show, and um, it's an exciting part of packaging. It's a big time. It's kind of the Super Bowl, I
That's
think.
right. It is. The first time I showed up at Pack Expo was the Chicago one, and I was like, man, I did a bunch of aviation trade shows, and I was like, they don't have anything on this. It's crazy. But I'm excited for the bakery show because I've heard that one's a big one, and since it's only every 3 years, they usually those shows that are in that format usually have a big turnout, and it's an impressive show. So that one should be fun. Hopefully, I'll get some good sweets.
Well, keep up the good work, Chad. Really appreciate what you're doing for Atlantic and a New Earth project. How do people get in touch with you and your team there?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Corey. And I, just wanted to mention that I'm stoked to have you as part of our team, and yeah, love what you're doing. I think a lot of us here have been fans of your podcast. Yeah, so
Thank
to
you.
add you to our team is a big win, and we're excited about that. But yeah, if there's ever any questions I could help, New Earth related products, or specifically Fishbone and Canopy, you can reach me at Chad F. So F as in Fields is my last name, at AtlanticPKG.com. You can find both those products on our website, or you can buy Fishbone direct without even having to get in touch with me in low order volumes, which would be uh, just a basic carrier like this. It comes with a handheld applicator. You can buy those in just a box of 1,000. So that's straight off the New Earth Project website, which is newearthproject.com. The catalog there is you can just order straight from there. And then,
That's great.
yeah, Canopy is also on AtlanticPKG.com.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, Corey, have a good day.